Baruchim habayim b'shem Adonai. Blessed are all who come in the Lord's name. Baruch Dayan ha'emet. We praise the Judge of Truth. And we'll begin with a couple of psalms, and then I will call forward Ali and Chris to share their reminiscences, and then I'll call forward Ron to offer his words and his and the prayer, the Baha'i prayer, and then I will continue, and then after the eulogy we'll escort her body to its final resting place. And we do all of these things with love and dignity, and so grateful for such a beautiful day weather-wise. In November, it could be, if you're from Cleveland or you're from Michigan, you're from almost anywhere you know, it could be much, much, much colder and windy. Even though it's the Spirit of God, the wind, it still can be cold. From Psalm 121. Asai enai el haharim me'ayin yavo Ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai oseh shamayim va'aretz. Al yitain lamot raglecha, al yanum shomrecha. Hine lo yanum v'lo yishan shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilcha ayad yeminecha. Yomam hashemesh lo yekaka, v'yarech balayla. Adonai yishmarcha mikol ra, yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmar tzecha v'echa, me'ata v'ad olam. I lift up my eyes unto the mountains, from whence cometh my help. My help comes from the Lord, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way, your protector will not slumber. See, the protector of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. The Lord is your guardian, he is your protection at your right hand. The sun will not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will guard you from all harm. He will guard your soul, your going and your coming, now and forever. Death has taken your beloved Beth and Malchman. Friends grieve in their darkened world, in their silence and his lamentation, in their tears and his loneliness. Lost in their sorrow, may they find the presence of loving friends. Hear them, O God, and be with them. For Beth's love that united so many people in life, and which death cannot sever. For her companionship that was shared along life's path, and which continues through the tenderness of memory. For the gifts of her heart and mind that brought joy and happiness, and is now a precious remembrance. For all of these and more, we give our thanks to God. It is a time of sadness, it is a time of grief, it is a time of tragedy. And so we listen once again to the voice of our sacred scriptures from Sefer Tehillim, from the book of Psalms. It tells us of our kinship with the Creator. In light as in darkness, in joy as in sorrow, in life as in death. Together let us recite the 23rd Psalm in English. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. It is a privilege to call forward Ali and Chris to eulogize our dear friend.
had two, she would say, handsome black men on each side of her when she passed. So I feel an obligation to look my best for her.
And you are?
My dear sister Beth Ann, we did not hit it off when we first met. On opposite sides of the battlefield, little brothers versus big sisters. Evan and I delighted in annoying you. I'd have never imagined you'd change from my best friend's big sister to my best friend. During the darkest years of my life, you were as constant as the North Star, always ready to hear the single father woes of your adopted little brother, ever ready to cheer my good news, and above all, a constant buddy when, like Job, all I could do was cry out to God. You feel still so near because you were all love all the time, and we met often in prayer. All of your friends felt warmed by your love, your sincere selflessness, your kindness, your good cheer, your solid advice. Above all else, you always met me in the most sacred, beautiful moments of prayer. Communing with God was our favorite pastime, and you were always game. But at the end, you also suffered so much from pain and constant illness, poverty and stress. You'd say, I can't take it anymore, and so now you no longer have to. Margot, Warren, and Evan are embracing you as you embrace us. Just as I speak these words to Beth, countless hearts lament her loss. To all of us, she was a dear friend, indeed a sister. To all of us, she offered kindness. On all of us, she showered love and wisdom. To share some sentiments, Chris Pollock said to me last night, she was so positive, you couldn't end a phone call with her in a bad mood. Michelle Wilkins said, I don't know if you were going to read something. Michelle Wilkins said she was always a positive person and had nothing bad to say about anyone. Paraj Manjakar said even when things are rough for her, she always finds a way to be upbeat and encouraging to everyone whose lives she has touched. Joanne B., who only met her through Facebook, but who shared the fact of not having a family, heard Beth Ann call her sissy and called her the same, and said that I can't stop crying when she heard. Alethea Thomas said, who knew her since elementary school, this absolutely is heartbreaking for me. I'm grieving, but I know in my heart she will be with her mom, dad, and brother Evan. Tara Stump said she was a great lady with a huge heart. And finally, Tricia Kessler wrote, she was the kindest, most loving person I knew. Beth will be greatly missed by me and anyone who knew her. But I know I will always have her watching over me from now on. I love you, Beth Malchman, and I always will. I will miss you till we meet again. Rest in peace. And finally, I'd say, fare thee well, Beth Ann, big sister of my best friend, and my best friend. And now, Chris, who knew you even longer than me.
It's all right.
Hi, I'm Chris. I've known Beth since, I can't remember, it was preschool or kindergarten. Before I say anything about it, there's a couple of my friends left a couple of long things. I'm just going to So Beth, Carla said, I'm sorry, Carla said, I'm so used to going on that. Beth said to you, in 5th grade, I transferred to Donley Elementary School, and we became friends, good friends. Since we both came from different religions, it was always a curiosity to me. Her Beth's friendship allowed me to learn more about Jewish faith, and she learned more about my Christian faith. I was so excited to attend her bas mitzvah.
Yep.
And learn all about what it meant. The party that came with it was fun too. At times she would come with my sister and I and our church youth group. Activities and occasionally attended our youth group activities. I treasure those times now. They allow me to see and share in different cultures and religious experiences, and find common bonds within them. These are the experiences that shaped our lives and gave us a framework that accepts and appreciates all people. I'm grateful to have Beth as a friend. Beth, you showed me how to accept all people and live generously and vibrantly. May your memory be a blessing to all who knew you. You will be missed. And then Trisha gave me a long one. And Trisha and I and Beth we were really tight, and they were both Jewish, and they used to just treat me to Jewish food when we was at school.
What's Trisha's last name?
Kessler.
Kessler.
And so I was thinking that, so I ate it because I was like, let me just try it. And I like some of the
food.
stuff. My mom she didn't cook soul food. I didn't share mine. My mom's white, so she didn't get the chance to share that. But she loves soul food. I cooked for her when I lived with her. But I feel, this is Trisha's. I feel like I am lost for words. I feel like such a terrible friend for not being there for her side when she passed. But I just wanted everyone to know what Beth meant to me. She was the kindest, most loving person I knew. Sure, we had our fights and didn't talk for a while, but we always made up and we were best friends. Again, she adopted my children and grandchildren as her own. She was like a sister to me. I'm terribly sad that I am unable to be there for her service, but I know Chris Miller and Ali Thomas will be there, as they were both when she passed away. Beth would greatly be missed by me and anyone who knew her, but I know I will always have her watching over me from now on. I love you, Beth, and I always will. I will miss you till we meet again. I'm a little nervous. Because Beth, we lost contact for 20 years, and thank God for Facebook. We got back together. It was like probably a year before Evan died. And I would let her know what Michigan State was doing most of the time, because she couldn't watch the games. And so she's a huge Michigan State fan. She told me to represent if she died first, so here I am representing that. When I moved here, I didn't know nobody, didn't have any friends. She accepted me in her house. And it's funny is because I was going through a hard time and I needed to get away from Michigan. And we had our fights when we first got there, because I don't think we knew how to be roommates. But we kept in contact. She called me every week, especially when football season was going on. Because she could say, do you know what the score is? I can't see my phone. And and when Michigan won, just like a few days before she passed, or the day she passed, I actually called her. I forgot I called her, and I didn't realize. I sent her a text, and so when I got to her when she was passing away, I told her, and so that was our thing that we had together, Michigan State. And when I moved here, she turned me into a Cavs fan, and I worked at Progressive, and not Progressive, I worked at there too, and I worked at the Q, and she'd always say, hey, what's going on? And so, I'm going to miss those times that we used to talk about that. And I know her faith was strong, because we used to talk about that too, and I'm going to miss her a lot. Thanks.
And to all of the words spoken as a prayer, let us say Amen.
Amen.
Ron, would you come forward, please?
I'm going to do it. This is the Baha'i prayer for the dead, and it takes a little bit of explanation. There's going to be 2 short paragraphs, sort of blessing Beth for what she's going through now, and then we're going to read essentially a meditation. It's 6 short sentences that each one is repeated 19 times. So I think it's best for us to make it a meditation between our heart and God, or our heart and Beth, perhaps, whatever works for you. But it's not, the meditation section is definitely not an intellectual exercise. O God, my God, this is that thy handmaiden and the daughter of thy handmaiden, who hath believed in thee and in thy signs, and set her face toward thee, wholly detached from all except thee. Thou art verily of those who show mercy the most merciful. Deal with her, O thou who forgivest the sins of men and concealeth their faults, as beseemeth the heaven of thy bounty and the ocean of thy grace. Grant her admission within the precincts of thy transcendent mercy, that was before the foundation of earth and heaven. There is no God but thee, the ever forgiving, the most generous. Allahu Akbar. We all verily worship God. 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 We all